Hey, alright guys, welcome back, and this month I am doing Transformers Month, and I'm kicking it off with one of my all-time favorites, Soundwave. Now, everybody knows Soundwave for that wonderful monochromatic robotic voice and the ability to house an entire army of little robot cassettes in his chest cavity. Now, most people don't know that Soundwave is one of Megatron's most loyal robots in his army, being the chief executive of communications, and he is absolutely loyal to Megatron to a fault, always obeying his commands when everyone else abandons him, and never questions anything that he says. Now, what most people don't know is that Soundwave's head is actually based off of the Decepticon logo, and that's where the idea from the Decepticon logo came from. And it was mainly came from this idea because Soundwave was originally Takara's idea to be the leader of the Decepticons, and I think that would have been pretty good, but they eventually decided to go with Megatron. Now, Soundwave, as you may or may not know, is a micro-cassette recorder. A lot of people think that he's a boombox, but he's actually just a personal cassette player. Now, this has a lot of different uses where he can transform his body down from a very large size to a very small size and be hidden in inconspicuous places to gather information. He can also create energon cubes from the center of his chest in order to store and capture energy, as well as deploy a large arsenal of cassette robots from his chest cavity. So let's go and take a look at a few of those now. Now, notably, two of the most famous out of the bunch are Rumble and Frenzy. Now, which one's which? There's always the RRIB category and the RRIR category, which is Rumble is red and Frenzy is blue. But personally, I always think that Rumble is blue because he was shown this way in the movies and in the cartoons. Not to mention the American version is the one that I'm used to and most of you are, so for my childhood's sake, Rumble will always be blue. Now, he looks very nice in his toy form, and he's mainly known for being a wisecracking little smartass that has two pistons that he uses to cause tremors and earthquakes. Now, Rumble's brother, Frenzy, is basically the exact same model as Rumble, except he's red and black. Now, the interesting thing is, even though Rumble has these pistons in his arms, it's not unique. Frenzy's able to do the exact same thing. The only thing that Frenzy can do that Rumble can't is he can actually send out shockwaves, which is why he's called Frenzy, and disrupt other robots' equilibrium. Now, one of Soundwave's also very favorite cassettes that he deploys a lot is Laserbeak. And Megatron is very partial to Laserbeak, as he always refers to him as one of the few who never fails him. Laserbeak is a very adept spy and is very good at gathering information and perching himself up high in corners where no one will notice him. And he kind of gets the nickname Turkey from a lot of the Autobots because he's very annoying. And then we have Laserbeak's brother, Buzzsaw, who never really sees very much action in the series at all. Buzzsaw actually does exactly what his name would apply. Instead of having laser cannons, even though he does have them, his main weapon that he uses is he actually can deploy two buzzsaws from his side wings that will cut through steel and is gold-colored rather than his silver-plated counterpart. Now, obviously, one of the favorites of the series, and one of my personal favorites myself, is Ravaged, and this is actually one of Soundwave's favorite cassettes, as he's even seen in an episode where he's petting Ravaged, and he even refers to him as his own pet. Now, Ravaged is actually very smart and can actually speak, and we see him in the comics here as he's vowing revenge on Starscream. Now, after Ravage, we have Ratbat. Now, Ratbat's a very interesting little character, as you wouldn't guess from his small size that he was actually at one point leader of the Decepticons. Ratbat actually served as the Decepticons' chief energy auditor and was even the general of the Decepticons' leader for a period of time when Megatron was out of commission. Now, moving right along, we have two characters that you may or may not have heard of before. They only had a few showings in the comics and cartoons, and this is Slugfest and Overkill. First, we have Slugfest, a purple and green Stegosaurus who has two solar-mounted cannons on his side. And then we have Overkill, who is a little T-Rex and has missile launchers on the sides of his body. Now, even later on in the series, as these would be the last G2 cassette robots to come out, we have Beastbox, who is a gorilla with back-mounted rocket launchers, and he looks really interesting in his gorilla form. I think they got that really well. And we have Squawk Talk, and Squawk Talk is a kind of like a parrot. I'm not sure what exactly type of bird that he's supposed to be, but it's just like his name implies, where he won't shut up and kind of always gathers a lot of useless information, and that's why he got the name. Now, the interesting thing about these two robots is they can actually be combined together, just like other robots like Devastator and Superion, and they form Squawk Box. And he's actually almost the size of, say, Mirage, or about 3/4 of the size of Soundwave. So that's really interesting that, you know, these teeny tiny little cassette guys, you know, they're almost the size of a full-size Transformer, and it's pretty cool, and he's definitely very hard to come by. Alright, so now let's take a look at some of the Transformers I have here. I have Soundwave and several of his cassettes, so let's take a look at Soundwave himself here. And you can see he's a really cool looking Transformer and Decepticon, probably my personal favorite. He has all the play and stop and pause and eject and rewind buttons. These stickers are supposed to be speakers on the sides. Now on the back, this little thing here is supposed to be a AA battery, and there's supposed to be a second one, which I don't have, and there would actually be a belt clip that would go over the back of this too, so you could actually clip it on your belt as if you had a real personal radio. It has the AM/FM switch on the side, or power switch, I believe. I'm not sure what exactly it's supposed to be. And you even have like a volume or tuning dial on the side that you can actually move up and down, which is really cool. They included all this detail. So I think he looks really good, and with a die-cast metal and chrome, he's a really nice looking Transformer. You can hit the eject button there, as you can see, and the cassette door opens up to reveal that he's hiding a little variant of Ravaged inside. We'll close that back up. Alright, and now let's take that out, and we'll transform Soundwave from his cassette form into his robot form. Now I gotta be careful with him because his joints are not in the best shape, so we'll flip the legs down here, and we'll flip the feet out. The feet are die-cast metal. I love the stickers right off the bat as soon as you begin to transform him. He just looks great. And then you flip the arms out to the side here, like so. And there's a little switch where you flip his hands out, his hands come down. There we go. Get him to stand upright. And we'll just raise his head up here on the back. This gets stuck sometimes, so you've got to be careful. There we are. And we'll turn him around, and we'll take his little AA battery, which doubles as one of his primary weapons. Unfortunately, since I'm missing the second one, he has a sonic cannon that would be mounted on his shoulder up top. But this is one of his main blasters, and you put that in there, and he is ready for battle. Doesn't he look fantastic? I think he just is really an exceptional looking Transformer, and just really stands out with that great classic face. You know, you can almost just imagine him saying, "As you command, Megatron." You know, that really crazy, like just so futuristic, like robotic voice, like what you thought a robot was going to sound like. It's pretty much how Soundwave sounds. So let's stand him up here next to all of his children, you can say. Alright, and now let's take a look at the first cassette that I got here, and this is Overkill. Now, this is one of the harder to find cassettes, although honestly a lot of the cassettes are hard to find. There's some of the harder to find Transformers in general. You can see he has his missile launcher, jetpack weapons on the side, and most of the cassettes had weapons that doubled as jetpacks for flight. For some reason, they didn't really have natural flight abilities like the rest of the Decepticons, so we'll take them off. And you can see here some of the paint's a little bit worn away. It says metal position and 60 minutes on there. And a lot of great detail with the blue and white, or blue and gray, I guess you could say. And there we go. We'll flip his head up. We'll bring the tail down. And there we go. We gotta pull the feet out first, and then you just move the feet apart like that so that he can support himself. Pull his little T-Rex arms out, which they're just so friggin' cute. Tiny little T-Rex. Pull his tail down. And roar! He's so ridiculous looking because he's a 2-inch little Tyrannosaurus Rex. How cute is that? Look at that little mouth. He goes, I'm gonna bite ya. Gonna bite ya. Nom 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 nom. And there we go. Let's put his missile launchers on the side there. He just looks very silly. He's very small and grumpy looking. Such a small T-Rex. But he looks really cool, and he's definitely one of my favorites. The cassette Transformers have always been my favorite Transformers in the series, I think, personally. And there we go. Looks really good, so let's get him to stand up over here. Yep, there we go. Did position his legs fully in the out position. Alright. And moving right along, let's take a look at Overkill's best buddy here, and that would be Slugfest. Now, Slugfest is different right off the bat, as you can see the bright green and the pink coloring. So, you know, he's definitely, aside from Ratbat, he's probably the brightest colored cassette out of the bunch, and it looks really cool. And he was later in the series, so you can kind of tell it's like the late 90s coloring. Like a lot of early Transformers didn't have like the bright fluorescent colors. And there you go, you can see the all the little markings of him being a cassette. And these things are just so neat. I think this was really such creative thinking by Takara and Hasbro to come up with cassette robots. Like, that was really out of the box. I wish they'd have done more like that. And so we'll flip the legs down and the tail down. And he has a neat feature here once you pull both the tail and the head down. And that's that his spikes spring up out of his back. So that's really cool. And he's a neat looking cassette transformer with his little pointy head. And he just looks very grumpy. He's got that little slanted eye. And then we'll put on his solar mounted cannons on there. I don't know why they go into such detail describing them as solar mounted. I don't know how that makes them better. They'd probably be very low wattage weapons. But he looks really cool. It stands really well. Really like his guns. He looks really good. But you gotta love those purple spikes. Very cool looking little transformer. Alright, and then one of my very favorites here, we have Ravaged. And now you can see he's all black here, and he has his weapons on him, and these are cluster bombs that Ravage uses, although they're not quite the same as what Starscream uses, because he also uses cluster bombs as well as his null ray. And then we're going to take a look here. Let's pop this open. This is another variant of Ravage. Now, this is not a G2 Ravage variant. It's just a later model. I believe it came out about a year later, where you can see some of the key differences on here, like the metal legs. These are more like a brushed steel, and these are kind of like a darker color. And also, it doesn't say Japan on the bottom of the cassette. So, don't know why they made a different version of Ravage, but we'll flip the legs down here. And he's got those tiny little feet, which are funny. You have to get them to position just right or he won't stand up. Flip the tail down and the head down. And we'll put his weapons on him here. And I think it's really cool that a lot of people don't know that Ravage actually speaks. Like in the G1 cartoon, when he's captured, I believe it's by Mirage and Hound, and they're harassing him when he has the key. he actually talks. Like, he actually says something to both Mirage and Hound, and there's another episode where he speaks too, but so many of those have been lost, I haven't been able to find that ever, but it's really cool. I mean, to think that Ravaged actually has, like, a human-sounding voice. It's really crazy. You know, most of them just think of him as, like, this silly, brainless, you know, cat spy, but, you know, he's actually pretty smart. He's really cool, and love his jet black. It's just the epitome of a good spy cat. Soundwave loves him because he's always seen petting him and thinks of him as kind of like his own pet. And we'll transform the other version of Ravage. His joints are a little bit looser, just so you can see the differences between them. So there really isn't very much. I think he's a little bit boxier in shape, and the paint's a little bit brighter. But other than that, he looks the same. I think the paint job looks kind of cheap on this one to begin with, but I personally like the original G1. You can see a side-by-side view of them here. And there's not too much detail, but I just think they got the coloring better on the original one. Alright, so we'll put Ravage over here. And we'll put Ravage number 2, or Ravage Jr. right next to him. Get him to stand up. Come on. Alright, there we go. Alright, and now let's take a look at some of Soundwave's other cassettes here. And this, we have Laserbeak. And he's got the nice silver and orange sticker on the front of the cassette. And he has the all-silver backing with the red and black paint, which looks really nice. Now, unfortunately, I don't have his weapons, but you transform him by just flipping his feet out at the bottom. And you just pull the wings all the way out and actually come out really far. And then his head slides out and up. And there we go. We have Laserbeak, or Nosy Beak, as I like to call him. He just looks very nosy, always in other people's business and spying. And Laserbeak's just kind of a jerk. He's a great character, but he's definitely a jerk. But there we go. All transformed, looking good. And now let's take a look at Laserbeak's brother, and this would be Buzzsaw. Now, what a lot of people probably don't remember, as you can also see here, the sticker is the exact same as Laserbeak, except on the back he has a gold coloring. But Buzzsaw was the pack-in cassette transformer that came with Soundwave when you bought Soundwave right out of the packaging. So we'll just transform him here with the feet down and the wings out. Pull his head out, and personally I like Buzzsaw a lot better than I like Laserbeak. Like, just look at that really cool coloring with the gold, and he just looks much more impressive, I think. You know, so a shame Buzzsaw never really got any time in the comics or on the show or anything like that, but we'll put him here next to his brother. And then last but certainly not least, this has got to be my favorite cassette transformer of them all, and just one of my all-time favorite transformers, and this is Rumble. And like I said earlier, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but for me, Rumble is blue, and this is who I associate Rumble with. Although I don't know why people always call him blue. He's more of a purple than a blue. Soundwave's really a blue. It should be Rumble is purple, not Rumble is blue. And there you go, you can see the nice stickering on him. Got that upside down. But really cool. Looks like a really neat, like real cassette. And I just love Rumble's personality, you know, in the Transformers movie. You know, when Devastator and, you know, Scrapper are saying, "Who would follow a boar like you, Soundwave?" And, you know, then Rumble goes, "Hey, nobody calls Soundwave uncharismatic." You know what he means to say, uncharismatic. And he's just such a funny, wisecracking goofball, in the movie. First we crack the shell, then we crack the nuts inside. So he has a personality all his own, and I don't think they really did that enough with Frenzy, so that's why Rumble always stood out. So as you can see here, I flip the legs down, you pull the little feet out, pull his arms out, and then his head will pop up there. It's kind of complicated to transform because there's so many small parts, and I got his legs facing the wrong direction. And there we go, there's Mr. Wisecrack and Rumble all ready to go. We'll just put his laser cannons on him, which I think is really interesting that in the show you always see him using the pile drivers, but in reality his main weapons are just laser guns, that also double as a jetpack. So he looks really awesome, fully transformed, and like I said, he's always been my very favorite character. Great detail, great coloring, just all around a great looking figure. There we go. Alright, and we'll put him in front of Soundwave there, and everybody else. Alright, there you have it. That is my collection of cassette transformers that I have with Soundwave. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed taking a look at my collection of cassette transformers and Soundwave, and I'll be doing another poll next week for what transformer you guys want to see, so let me know, make sure that you vote, and remember, I'll be doing Transformers all month long, so come back next week for more Robots in Disguise fun. See you guys next time.
Hey guys, if you liked the video that you just watched, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you do the Facebook and Twitter thing, follow me at #KingOfRetro. See you next time.